Haven't made a video in a little while here in the past few weeks, so I've had a lot going on in my lessons and wanted to make a video kind of compiling everything together, just an update video, not really going to be doing much playing. But I want to start this off with talking about some technique changes I've made. So the first thing is that with my tremolo, I had it going very fast and pretty even, but the issue was it wasn't loud. And I got pointed out to me that I was using too much of this joint and not enough of this one. And hopefully you know what I'm talking about. It took me a while to really get it. It's one of those basic principles that you've learned when you first started playing guitar. I know y'all have heard people tell you to practice going like this and like bring your fingers touching all the way to your palms. It helps you feel this joint moving, this second joint, this part of your finger here. But anyway, so it's a basic principle, but I thought I was just like, it was trained in me and I didn't have to ever worry about it again. But I had to think again because my tremolo was sounding like this. Just as an example of how soft it was, like the tremolo part. See, I was going, like my basses were fine, but what I've been practicing is going like this. And I'll zoom in closer here for you. I've been going. So, all the way in my palm, and it's a very weird feeling to do that after you've been practicing and keeping it all, because you know, you want small movements eventually, but the issue was I was doing this instead of, you can even tell, you know, you can see these joints moving compared to when I'm going like this is all you see, and then the other way, you see that. So, anyways, there's a lot of changing. I've been practicing going like that. And then the other thing is I changed when my pointer finger plays, so when my I finger plays, I snap into place my P finger. So like I go. And that's a really weird thing to get used to. And that really helps just like with rhythm of the tremolo, making sure that the thumb lands right at the right time, because otherwise, you know, it sounds so that's not what you want, and that's something I've really changed. Now, this technique change didn't only apply to tremolo for me. When I was playing scales, I noticed, well, it was pointed out to me. So this one, I've taught this exercise on this channel. When I was doing that, I was also making really small movements with the wrong joint, this. So what I practiced here was playing this exercise or any scale or anything. This is rest stroke right now I'm talking about, really loudly. I just went and making sure my fingers alternated, like crossed, crossed, crossed. And I would sit here watching this joint. And I have another mirror set up over here. I have two mirrors so that I can watch my hand from this angle, which is really nice to see that. So it's essentially like this angle, making sure I can see my joints, like these other joints moving up in the air. And now the other thing was with free stroke. I would practice pulling my finger all the way, just like tremolo, so I could really feel that. And then when I went back to going like this, well, it's hard to go back to the wrong way now, but when I go back to doing this, it feels really wrong, and it's really soft. Notice, you can't play loud like this. But, well, like that. And see, that's all free stroke. So anyways, that was a change I made, and of course I had to practice that with all my fingers, which is tough. And especially going slow with the metronome, just bring my finger all the way back. Even though obviously that's really inefficient, it's a good way of practicing feeling that top joint. So anyways, that brought up, I spent a whole like week and a half practicing that, just reworking my scales. I'll show you here. I have a chart here where I write on my mirror. Maybe you can see it. But I write speeds that I'm working my scales up to. And they were nice and high. I was feeling great about it. When I went in for my lesson, I had to all really start over once I, found out what I was doing. And I'm trying to work it back up to those speeds now, but it's definitely a change. So that's one thing I wish I could have told myself to watch out for more, not learning to practice that way. And I guess speaking more on that subject, it's easy to start the right way and end up the wrong way when you're pushing speeds. Because say you're at 93 and and you can be playing loud like this with all the right finger movements. Sometimes your fingers can naturally like end up doing bad technique because it's easier, but it doesn't sound as good. So I think that's what ended up happening with me when I was pushing these speeds all by myself, you know, not in front of an instructor or someone that knew better. I ended up really shortening my movement, and this part of my joint was not moving. So that covers my technique changes I've been doing. As far as repertoire, I have been assigned the Barton Clench by Mertz. I'm learning one piece out of that right now, and that's the Romans, and it's the Andante, which is it's Andante. I think that's the one. There's two different Romans, but it starts out, alright, it has these runs. Huge runs anyways. So I'm working on that, really cool piece, very nice. And I'm working on the Milan Pavanas, and I've learned the first three now. And otherwise, the Suite Castellana, and the whole suite I'm learning. And so far I've got into the errata, which is the second out of 3 movements. And I think that's about it. I don't really know if I'm forgetting anything. I think that's it. So I've been working on those things, and an update here, rep classes. So where I play for the other guitarists. I've talked about in other videos, as well as the one where I talked about my audition, my recent audition here at the end of the fall of 2012. I talked about how I had a lot of trouble in rep class, getting nervous, and that's been a lot better lately. I've done 3 rep classes now in a row and not gotten too nervous, and I actually ended up playing well. And in rep classes before, I was shaking a whole lot. Like I'd feel my heart beating, I'd start shaking, I'd mess up once, and then I would just like domino effect from there. I'd spiral downhill, and it got really bad. But I think what I've changed recently mostly has been deciding what piece to play farther in advance. A lot of people coming up to rep class, and I mean, I did it all the time. And some people get away with it. I mean, some people can do it. But I was deciding last minute what piece I was going to do. I was like, oh, I don't know if I'll play this or that or this or that, and I ended up practicing them both. And that leads to confusion when you get back, when you get up to perform in front of everyone. You're not as comfortable as you should be. So I decide at the beginning of the week what piece I'm going to play in rep class now. And it's worked out for me, and I've been really happy with it. I think that's building confidence in itself, to maybe be able to one day be like, oh, I'll decide at the last minute what I'm going to play. But that's really helped. I've been happy about that, and that's one of the things I was told I need to be improving on. So I think that's everything. I uploaded a video of one of the Milan Pavanas pieces. I'll be uploading 2 and 3 sometime soon, and hopefully the Suite Castellana, but that'll be once it's, by the way, that's by Taroba. And I'll upload that once it's ready. That might be a little while, as well as the Barton Clench. Anyways, yeah, just thought I'd make this update video. I know it's a long video, but yeah, this will be cool to look back on when I'm curious what I was working on at the time.